Hello, dearies. Welcome to EachPage Flow. I'm Sela, and this is episode 33, or episode 6 of season 4, and it's dedicated to Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan, the anime, not the manga. Are you prepared to relive the angst overall? Not, which is why I haven't rewatched the whole anime yet. But I haven't read the manga either because the anime was traumatic enough. Let's begin. If you have been following the anime from the beginning back in 2013, then you had the full range of emotions of it. Although from season 2 to season 3, which I watched in 2019 fully, I had to rewatch everything because season 1 and 2 were almost close, and then the jumps came and there were a lot of years gap. It had been too long and I have been waiting, and it only made me want to rewatch everything and to know more about Eren, Mikasa, and Armin all over again. Although, truth be told, they are the main characters, but they're not my favorite in the anime. If you ever heard of this anime, it all begins with 3 kids dreaming about going outside the walls where they live and seeing the sea. And then there's a giant humanoid being, a titan, that attacks their peaceful life. Their families are destroyed and they go into training to become soldiers and later join the Survey Corps, the branch that fights titans outside the walls. So for 2 seasons, everything seems alright, while I try to figure out how these titans, which are bigger, smaller than the ones they are used to, because they have all their lives known they're there, the walls are there to protect them, and how what is going on with this, because when they were attacked, were in the part where they live and have to be driven out of it, the titans that were there were a lot more dangerous than what they were used to. That's the premise. There's no spoiler in that, but it goes really dark after that, when the story starts to advance and you discover every question and the answers to those questions that you might have from the beginning. It all begins to be uncovered as the main protagonists go through it. But how many seasons are there? There are 4 seasons from 2013 to 2023. That's a decade of airtime, and each time we were waiting for a little bit more of all the characters, me especially of Levi. So season 1 was 25 episodes and season 2 12 only, which I didn't notice at the time was, a shorter length. Season 3, which was divided in 2 parts in 2018 and 2019, was 22 episodes. And finally season 4 is 35 episodes plus 2 specials, and that was from December 2020 to November 2023. Fun fact, if you notice a change from season 3 to season 4, which I certainly did, there's a major reason for it. The studio that was making the anime changed. The width was out, and MAPPA studio took over season 4, which was definitely a game changer. The art, the story, the pace of Attack on Titan changed, and it was good. You could definitely immerse yourself more in it. And as a plus, MAPPA is the same studio as Jujutsu Kaisen. In case you were wondering, I certainly was excited when I saw it, and I was like, oh right, that's why it became better. Because Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. So yeah, if you notice the change, that was why. Now, the main characters in Attack on Titan, you have Eren Jaeger, which the protagonist is a boy who watches the Titan destroy his home. He kills his mother, and he swears he's gonna destroy everything in the world. Most of the series is the question of how he's gonna do that, what he's vowed to destroy all Titans, what it became of it. Then there's Mikasa Ackerman, raised alongside Eren after the Jaegers took her in when she was little. She's the strongest in her class and has an attachment with Eren because they were basically raised together. And Armin, he's the third of the childhood trio, and physically the weakest, but he's the sharpest. He's like the strategist of the whole team, and he's the one that turns off the city most, and like the emotional spine of the whole series is basically Armin, and we watch them grow. Now, be warned, there's some spoilers moving forward if you haven't watched season 3, season 4. Levi Ackerman, he's the captain of the Special Operations Squad, and he's called the humanity's strongest soldiers. My favorite character of the whole anime, beginning to end. Since I started watching, he only grew for me. And there were other characters, of course, that I paid attention, but Levi kept that badass moments. And after season 3 was this huge moment with the Beast Titan that really became like mind-blowing. This character is like the one to watch out for, the one that you want to survive this whole thing. Then there was other characters, friends of Armin, Mikasa, and Eren. It was Jan, Kristen, Sasha, Laos, and Connie. They were like this second trio of friends that we were introduced to us when they were training to be soldiers and everything. And of course, you fell for them as well, for the stories, and wanted to know more about. Then there was Reiner, Annie, and Bertholdt, and they were also introduced when they were training, and their character arcs were strange because we didn't know anything about them, and it was this whole thing about finding out who they were, why they were there, where they were when the walls fell. The first one where Eren, Mikasa, and Armin lived there. Almost everyone that was training to be soldiers came from that. I mean, the youngest ones. So it became a whole, why are these people also training, but they seem a little more astute and calm than the rest of the world. So yeah, all of that is pieces and bits of the plot, and where you eventually get immersed. Season 1 and 2 were a little younger side, but after season 3 and 4, it just became a whole dark part of Attack on Titan, and the traumas began for real. So was Attack on Titan ending war after 10 years? Before we continue, there will be some spoilers in this part, even more than before. And I haven't said much, and I'm going to say everything that happened, but yes, if you haven't watched the ending, then be warned. There's a lot that I've seen about was Attack on Titan ending bad, or was the ending disappointing? Yes and no. It did feel a bit off for me. Something like, is that it? Several this time. But by the time that last episode was wrapping up, Eren's decisions had become what the heck are you doing, Eren, mixed with I kind of get what he's trying to do. I mean, Eren did explain he was trying to save his friends, his family, Mikasa and Armin. If you let me watch the anime, watch it again, he explained everything. But his methods were insane. He was responsible for a lot of casualties, a lot of trauma. It was a disaster in the way that things turned out. And maybe if he had trusted his friends more, things would have been different, but he didn't. So in the end, we were left with a creepy ending scene between Mikasa and let us remember that by having the attack on Titan, Eren was already doomed. He had limited time to live. He was trying to, I'm not justifying him, I'm just saying that he was trying to make the best, or trying to make a plan for everything to be in some way some sort of plan after he was gone, or before he was. For me, at the time of this one season ended years ago, it was half worth the wait. But now, as I was reliving everything for the podcast and recording it, it was more of a, it is what it is. I suppose I had time to process the whole ending and everything that happened in there. For the manga, the author is Hajime Isayama sensei, who wrote and illustrated the manga, which is apparently something that is odd to do. It was serialized on one of the shonen magazines from September 2009 to 2021. So it was 12 years of manga. And it had a length of 139 chapters across 34 volumes. The completed final chapter was April 2021. And it was in English. Kodansha Comics is the one who has the rights. So if you're looking to read that, just let me know. I can find a link for you. But it is with Kodansha. It's the official one. If you decide to read the manga, we haven't decided yet. I tried, but I couldn't. Then no, there is a lot to go through. Although compared to other manga, which have around 200 chapters more, this would seem easy, except for the emotional toll that it will probably bring on you. But yes, that's all from me on this one. I wanted to talk quickly about the Attack on Titan anime and how it all went. I didn't do it at the time when the season 4, the final season, ended. So, I left the best for the middle of season 4 of EachPage flow. For me to talk about Attack on Titan from beginning to end, I will have to make hours of podcasts, which I don't have time right now. But I did want to chat a little bit about it. And there will be a lot of rumbling if I decided to go beginning to end. So I decided to give you the condensed version of it. If you are ready to go into it or to finally finish the anime, it is still a good story to watch. Action, relatable characters, so much drama and nervous breakdowns because there are a lot of them. There is a bit of everything in it. If you want more bookish manga content, you can go and find me on the blog eachpage.org. If you want aesthetics and mood boards and stuff like that, you can find them on my Pinterest. I have a lot of anime there. And in the blog, you will find reviews and recommendations. And a lot of things that I don't put on the podcast. And over on my Patreon, you will find free wallpaper stickers and reading checklists waiting for you. The link is in the description box. New episodes are coming every Tuesday there is, so subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of which, if you want something a little lighter after all the drama of Attack on Titan, you can listen to episode 28, where I talk about Classroom of the Elite, which have some darkness and psychological tools, but nobody gets eaten, so at least that's something. And before this season wraps up, here's a little teaser. We'll be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, which is the same studio as Attack on Titan Season 4. So stay with me to the end so you can find out my thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen. Now tell me, are you a 10-year fan or did you binge watch recently? No wrong answers here. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for listening, dearies. See you on the next one.